Good evening and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Francine Design, a channel that helps you in interior design. Basically, it's a channel for learning and critiquing and going through some of the interior design pieces that have gone. Being a professional interior designer, first we have to go through the basic principles of interior design to help us understand. Even when looking at a piece and critiquing it, you need to have some guideline that guide you. So today we're going to go through the 7 principles of interior design. There are other principles. Some of the principles can be merged to 5. Some people even have more principles, but basically these are the accepted that you'll get in most of the academic learnings of interior design. So again, welcome to my YouTube channel. To start us off, we need to understand that interior design and interior decor, though used interchangeably, are supposed to mean two different things. Interior design is a professional study of making an aesthetically appealing and also healthy environment for the users, while interior decor is not necessarily a trained professional study. It's just having that eye to see a beautiful thing and to piece them up together to make an interior space beautiful or aesthetically appealing to the user. So though most of the time people use those two terms interchangeably, but they are two different terms. Interior design is a professional study, while interior decor is just the piecing up of items to make the interior space beautiful. So why do you need to go through this? Because for you to have a professional study, there are guidelines that need to guide you, and that's why you need to go through the principles of interior design. Now, one of the principles of interior design that we're going to go through today is unity and harmony. Basically, what it means is unity and harmony is having the items in your space, the items in the space coordinating, the items in that space looking like they are uniform, they're in uniformity with each other. There's no conflict between the items. And for you to achieve this, basically, you need to, when you're starting an interior design, when you're starting to have interior design done in your space, is to have a style. We have different styles, which your interior designer should be able to take you through. For example, we have the shabby chic, which most people are used to because it's commonly used these days. There's contemporary design, there's modern, there's the old designs like rustic, Victorian. So for you to have that harmony and uniformity, you need to work with a basic style that you're running with. Because if your items are not in unity or harmony together, the space will look a bit too busy or confused, and it will not be aesthetically appealing. So yeah, our basic principle number 1 is unity and harmony. The next principle we are going to go to is balance. I should say that balance should be the first principle that you use. Basically, it means that the weight in your space is evenly distributed. Does not mean that your space has to have equal sides. Like you have this chair on this side, it has to be on the other side. But visually, it should be equally distributed. That means that one side should not look too weighty, too busy than the other side. There are different types of balance. Like there is the radial balance, which basically is from the center, like a circular space from the center going all round. The items look balanced. There is the asymmetrical balance, which means basically the items on both sides are equal, like the picture we're checking on. The flowers on this side and the other side are the same. The chairs on this side and the other side are the same. Balance can be in terms of color, can be in terms of items, And there is also asymmetrical balance. With asymmetrical balance, the items are balancing, though they are not the same on each side, or the colors are not the same on each side, but they create that sense of equilibrium that they are balancing. So this is another space that shows you this one is symmetrical because on both sides the items are equal. This other space is asymmetrical. The colors are balancing on this side. There is brown on the other corner. There is brown on this side. So in as much as the items are different, but you can feel they are balanced. When the eye views, you feel like all sides are the same. So that asymmetrical balance. Then this can be this can be radial balance from the center piece, that is the flower in the middle. If you go on both sides, you feel like you're in a circle that is well balanced. So that is radial balance. Now we go to the other principle of interior design, which is rhythm. Rhythm basically means a repetition of the visual items, the visual forms in your space. Doesn't mean that you repeat, like if you're having the chairs, you repeat all the chairs. No, what it means is at least you have some repetition. Like if you're running with color black, let the color black be balanced. That you can see it here, you can see it there, you can see it there, not mixing so many things in that piece. So you have to have that rhythm, that there's a repetition, which also, in as much as there's a bit of contrast, but there's that repetition that you can see the items are balancing in that room. So that is a third principle of interior design. You can see in this picture the repetition of columns. You can also see the repetition of seats, though they're not in one place, but you can see the design is the same and the colors are the same. So you need to have rhythm in your space. Then the fourth principle is proportion and scale. Scale is the relationship of that item or color to the space that you have. Proportion is the relationship of that item to other items in that room. For example, you do not need to have a very big table and small chair. They will not be proportional. Or you have very big chairs and the space is small. It will look congested. So you have to have something that is proportional and the scale is good in relationship to the space that you have. So that's a fourth principle. In this case, you can see the proportion in terms of the colors, the bed, and the lamps that are in that room. Some of the lamps are big, some are small. So that is the proportion that we have. And in terms of, I'm not saying that the space is the scale is okay, because it looks a bit crowded. It looks a bit too many things in a small space. But that shows you where the scaling and proportion comes in. Basically, this one has too many things in a small space, but that will guide you to know how much to put in a space in terms of proportion and scale. The other principle is contrast. Contrast basically means having different forms. Though they are uniform, they are making sense, but they are different, but in a way that they still have harmony and unity. For example, in this space, you can see their chairs, their design is the same, but the colors are different. There is blue and there is green, which is you can clearly see. Then you can also see the contrast in terms of the floor and the wood, they're brown. But at the end of it all, in as much as there is contrast, you can still see there is harmony and unity in this object. So basically, contrast means having different forms, different colors, different shapes, but still applying the other principles of interior design. In this space, you can see the green and the orange uh, and the white. There's a big contrast, but at the end of it all, it's still aesthetically appealing. The other principle of interior design is emphasis. Emphasis basically means creating a focal point, having something that your eye can be attracted to. You, in that big space, in that your interior space, there's something that your eye can look into and say that's a beautiful thing. So you have to create something that is a center of interest. All the pieces cannot be center of interest because it will now be confusing. You need to have one or two or three focal points, then the others are just neutral. Just having the other principles of interior design, but they're not centers of interest. Like in this case, you can see the chest near the fireplace. That will draw your eyes to that. It will create a focal point. So you need to have, and as I said, it's not necessarily one piece. You can have several focal points in your space. Here in this other picture, you can see the chair, the stool, the table in the middle, and the stairs. They easily attract your eyes because of the gold that they have, the brown in them. So they create a focal point in that interior space.